Hey guys, this is the Unsmooth Criminal. I am sorry about yesterday. I was just completely out of it mentally and physically. I had a full night's sleep, obviously. I pretty much always have a full night's sleep. But I was mentally out of it because I stayed up really late the day before. So I woke up really late yesterday. So I'm fixing that. Gonna be fixed. Gonna get 2 videos out to you guaranteed today. So this is gonna be what if Deku was a floor guardian. And if you guys don't know what floor guardians are, watch the show Overlord, and you'll immediately know. If you guys want a synopsis of their of the abilities and lore of the characters from Overlord, Anna News, I'll link his channel in the description. He's a really good guy when it comes to explaining stuff. Well, at least for me. I understand pretty much everything. Uh, so down to the story. So, this girl was born, and I'm going to go into a little bit of Overlord lore. Overlord is a show with 90% of the characters that are in the Overlord's army being inhuman in some way. So, yeah, they're inhuman. So I'm going to get to that really quickly. Most people, when they give a birth to a child, they don't think, oh, it's going to be stillborn. No, no, no. They think it's going to be healthy. I'm going to do everything I can to make it healthy. But this child was born still. No one knows what a stillborn is. Dead. They're born dead. But the child was still breathing. The heart wasn't pumping blood. The child was still breathing and opened its eyes. After a good hour or two, the heart started pumping blood throughout the body of the child. And I'll be mixing some of the names, by the way. So, yeah. She has wings like Albedo. She has the red eyes like Shaltir. She has the fangs like Shaltir, obviously. She's got the ears like the Dark Elf twins. So she's going to be able to do whatever the hell she wants, by the way. She's got the transformations of Demiurge. She's got the multiple arms of Cocytus. She's got the brain capacity of Victim. And no, there's no physical traits of Victim in her, so. But most of her abilities, or most of the people that have abilities for her, have the ability to change into a humanoid form. Oh, and yes, she's part dragon because of Sebus. So, she's gonna be overpowered. But she can't use any of that yet. So we go to when she's 4, and most people are like, oh, that's when you're supposed to get your quirk. Well, she doesn't really have a quirk per se, but it is still legally identified as a quirk. Because quirks are bloodline limits or Kikigenkais that mix together to form different quirks or to take the dominant quirk and show it. So, when she's 4, she goes to the quirk doctor to see what her abilities are, and the quirk doctor says that she can do whatever the hell she wants. And this quirk doctor is not as devious and evil as Ujiko, because he's not Ujiko. He's a nice guy who has a mutation quirk on top of his normal quirk. And yes, quirks can still evolve. So we go to when she's 6. Her parents don't like mutation quirks. And they thought it was freaky or they thought it was demonic that she was dead when she was first born, but was still alive. So they don't care what they do to her. They beat her, they sell her off for prostitution, they just give her away in slavery, basically give her away, but they still get money for it. And she goes from household to household from the males, and by this point she's gotten a lot of attention from the black market and someone who wants her quirks, or quirk. And he keeps an eye on the black market to see whose quirk is strong enough for him to attempt to take. And the black market doesn't say anything about mutations, so it's a shot in the dark for him. And he's like, how can I do this? So he basically steals her, and he shows compassion to her, and she starts thinking of him as a parental figure. And it's been 3 years since she's left her home. And this man sees that she's very untrustworthy of people, but she will do whatever people ask of her, because she's technically people's property at points. So we go to when she's 10. This man, and I'm not saying his name yet, but this man has been training her. He's been training her. He's given her attention. He's given her what she needs to become mentally stable. On the wrong side of the spectrum. And he's been slowly adding quirks to her. And he's been slowly doing this over a long period of time, so she doesn't notice them. But when she activates them, she thinks they're part of her quirk. So she's very trustworthy in this person, or trusting in this person now. It's been 3 years since he's stolen her from somebody, and he's not done anything demeaning to her. He's not hit her. He's not talked loudly to her. He has talked sad to her, expressing his disappointment in some actions that she does. But she does have this urge to help people sometimes. Sometimes. But not completely and utterly save them. She'll help them and cut off their legs and say, now try to survive. So we go to when she's 14, and she's finally getting out of middle school, and the man has put her into middle school because, well, he wanted her to have at least a little bit of an education. But he went by the nickname Hisashi Midoriya. And he had a wife in this one, and her name was Inko Midoriya. And so, after a few years, the man showed her, or the child, Inko got shown the child, and Inko accepted the child and raised it with Hisashi. And one day, after a few years, Hisashi disappeared. And Shaltir Midoriya, that's her name right this second, Shaltir Midoriya, is very sad because her favorite person in the world, her father figure, she knows he isn't her father, but she still calls him dad. And has disappeared. So she's like, I want to save him, so I should be a hero to save him. That's where it's going to get tricky. So the next 2 years she spends training and trying to get ready for the school called UA. And my cat's doing something weird. What are you doing, Leo? She's trying to get ready for this school named UA. And she goes to the entrance exams. And she throws fire, she throws ice, she summons weapons. She does so many different things that All Might thinks, oh crap, she's got all for one. She's trying to infiltrate and get into UA to take their secrets or take their people's quirks. So he tells Nezu that he speculates this and asks Nezu what her quirk is. And Nezu says her quirk's name is Floor Guardian. He doesn't know what it means. And All Might goes, okay. Anything else? And he goes, no, it doesn't say what it does. Well, let me rephrase that. It does say what it does, but not in detail. And he goes, what does it do? And Nezu goes, anything she wants. And he goes, okay. And he's thinking, oh, that's just she just renamed All for One. Because he still thinks he killed All for One. He still thinks he killed All for One. She just renamed All for One and is now using something called Floor Guardian. So he says, Nezu, we cannot let her into the school. And Nezu says, but she's trying to be a hero. And he goes, still, if she gets close to the other words, hard, ugh. She gets close to the other future heroes, she may take their quirks and not allow them to be heroes. And he goes, okay. And he trusts All Might's judgment in this one, even though it's a mean Might one. So even though she got top marks on the exam, and everybody knows this, she got top marks, because she just destroyed every single robot that came into her sightline. So she even destroyed the 0-pointer. So on the week, she didn't get a letter. The very first day of UA, that's scheduled to be a day of UA, she walks in and goes to the principal's office and asks to have a conference with the principal, and they go, sure. And Nezu has a conversation with her. And she didn't see any of the people that go to the 1A classroom, because all the people that are going to the 1A classroom were in the same block as her. So she knows exactly what their score is. And he goes, sorry, but you did not pass the test high enough. And he's lying through his teeth at this point. You did not pass high enough. So you are not accepted into the hero course. I could put you in the general course. She goes, no, I'll try again next year. And he goes, okay, hopefully we'll see you then. And she walks out of UA and she sees a shadowy figure following her. So she ducks into an alley and asks, why is he following her? And he goes, my master requests your presence. And she goes, who's your master? And he goes, you know him by the name Hisashi Midoriya. And her eyes widen, and she goes, "Wait, he's alive?" And he goes, "Yeah, and he's very injured. He would like to see you." And explains some stuff to you. And she goes, "Sure." So this shadowy figure opens a portal, and she walks through it. So he's in his test tube with a mental quirk, allowing him to talk to people mentally. And she shows up, and she's crying because his face is all fricked up, and his arm's gone, one of his legs is gone, he's got scars all throughout his chest. And you can see slowly one of his arm is growing back. And he says that he doesn't want her to see him in this pitiful state, and that he is ashamed that he lost to someone trying to protect her. And she hears this and asks who was it, and he goes, "It was the apparent symbol of peace, All Might." And she starts getting pissed at All Might for doing this to her father. So she says that she will get revenge for him, and he goes, "No, not yet. We must train even more." So the first day of school goes by. She meets her father again. She goes home, and she tells her mom that her father's fine. And her mom is like, "What?" And she uses one of her gate abilities, because she has an ability called Gate, and she takes her mom to her father. And he says, "I'm sorry that I wasn't able to come and talk to you guys, but I'm currently indisposed of." And he has a weak, sickly chuckle. And they start both crying, being like, "We're gonna help you get over this." Yes, Inko's still Mom of the Year, or best mom in anime, whatever you want to call her. So, Inko, being a military badass, because she was in the military, starts teaching her how to fight and kill. So, by the 2-month time, 2-month time frame for the USJ, she is adept in any kind of martial arts, any kind of weapon. She knows how to use it. She knows how to take advantage of it. And she prefers to have armor on to hide herself. If anybody knows what Albedo looks like in her armor, that's what armor she wears. And she does show her wings. She has 2 pairs. Well, 3 actually. She has demon wings in the center, angel wings on top, and fallen angel wings on the lower of her spine. So, we start at the USJ. Everybody walks in and they're like, "Cool, you got fake villains." And every single one of the villains comes out. And there's no Nomu in this one. There's no Nomu in this one. No. Shaltier walks out. And she walks out. And she just stands there, and she holds a giant battle axe next to her. And she tells the villains, "Go, have fun. I'll just watch right now." And they go, "Okay." And they run at the children, trying to attack them. And she made a deal with these villains that if they hurt the children and not kill them, they can do whatever they want to the children. And they agreed, because they were kind of threatened into this. So they agreed. And Aizawa heard what she said and got into a defensive stance. And he told Ida to run. And she opened up a gate behind Ida. And she goes, "If you want to run, go through that portal. I'm not going to stop you." And he is hesitant about this. And Aizawa goes, "Just go! Get out of here!" And she goes, "Oh, by the way, that portal goes to UA. It will close once you walk through it. And he's like, and she goes, I wouldn't lie. I have no reason to. Unlike your... And she stops herself being like, oh, I forgot. I'd get punished if I said bad language. Unlike your beloved symbol of peace, I wouldn't lie. And they go, okay. And they have a feeling of trusting her when they know she's the enemy. So he walks through and he arrives at UA. And he runs into the principal's office and yells, Nezu! And Nezu freaks out because it was all of a sudden a giant loud yell of his name. And he goes, what? And Ida says that the USJ is being attacked. And Nezu rounds everybody up and sends them back at the USJ. Aizawa is easily beating all the every single one of the villains are getting stomped by Aizawa, making him more powerful in this one. And she is just watching. And she's analyzing and seeing what would happen if certain things happened. So every few seconds, she'd mess with Aizawa. Take away his eyesight. He'd still fight perfectly fine because his eyesight's not his main fighting sense. Then she would take away his touch. Then he would start messing up, getting hit. Then she'd give it back. And she'd just be doing little experiments on him. And all the villains have gotten at least a punch in, and they are now all knocked out. And he looks at her and she goes, whoa, 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 whoa. I just wanted to say hi. And in a flash, there's a mountain of heads in front of her. And she goes, and thank you. And she just walks through a gate behind her. And he goes, what the hell? And All Might goes, I am here. And Aizawa goes, God damn it. All Might looks at the carnage and he sees Aizawa standing in front of the decapitated heads. And he was about to attack Aizawa when he put it together that if he attacks Aizawa, thinking that he may be a villain, or he may have done this to the villains, he may be getting it wrong. So he runs down to Aizawa and asks what happened here, when he really wants to just attack somebody, because he's pissed off that somebody would attack the students that he's claiming to save. And Aizawa says that the masked woman has left. And she's a lot smarter than all of us combined. And Aizawa and All Might's like, what? And he goes, yeah. Well, we're screwed. And All Might goes, what do you mean? And he goes, well, her quirk was so strong that she did this in the blink of an eye. And he points down to the heads, and All Might goes, what? Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is a short one. I'll put out the, hopefully, second part of this one. I don't really know how to do villains very well. I do know how to do vigilantes. Very gruesome vigilantes. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Talk to you guys later.